Welcome to At Home with Music. I'm Leon Olguin. We're continuing with our exploration of Roman numeral chord symbols. My goal here is to present this concept in an understandable, systematic way. So I encourage you to stick with me and you'll see how important it is to learn this. Music is full of patterns that are similar from one song or one classical piece to the next. We can see patterns when we construct scales. As you know, major scales have a set series of whole steps and half steps. There are specific patterns for the three different types of minor scales: harmonic, melodic, and natural. Now with Roman numeral chord symbols, we're using numbers instead of note names. Using numbers instead of note names helps us to see these patterns. Thinking of music in terms of numbers is also helpful with transposition or transposing, talking about moving melodies and or chord progressions from one key to another. Thinking of music in terms of numbers also helps us to analyze it. We can analyze songs by using Roman numeral chord symbols. This enables us to spot similar patterns between many different songs in all the different keys. So, how will we use these Roman numeral chord symbols? We will use them to represent chords within a specified key. So a Roman numeral chord symbol by itself doesn't mean anything until you specify what key you're in. The Roman numeral 1 represents a triad built on 1, or the first note of the scale. We can then proceed to build triads on each successive note of the scale. And as you listen to each triad as you're playing them, you notice immediately that they have different qualities. And if you remember your chord qualities, you know that they can be major, minor, diminished, or augmented. Uppercase Roman numerals represent major triads, and lowercase Roman numerals represent minor triads. So keep that in mind as you're looking at the Roman numeral chord symbols. That's how you tell major from minor. Uppercase Roman numerals with what looks like a little plus sign are augmented. And a lowercase Roman numeral with this little tiny, looks like a little 0 or an O, that is a diminished chord. And don't forget, we're also going to be looking at the Nashville number system, which uses Arabic numbers, the regular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of Roman numerals. Just for an example, let's say we're in the key of G, and we see the chord symbol B minor on the lead sheet. The root of this chord is B. The scale degree of this root in the key of G is 3. 1, 2, 3. And so the Roman numeral would be a lowercase Roman numeral 3 because it's minor. And so the notes in this chord are, of course, B, D, F sharp. Here's another example. If we are in the key of F minor and we saw G diminished in the lead sheet, the root of this chord would be G. The scale degree of this note or of this chord would be 2. 1, 2. The Roman numeral would be lowercase 2 with the little tiny 0 after it. And the notes would be G, B flat, D flat. That's G diminished. If we were in the key of C minor and we saw E flat in the lead sheet, the root of this chord would be E flat. The scale degree of the root would be 3. 1, 2, 3. The Roman numeral would be uppercase 3 because this is a major chord. E flat, G, B flat. So let's take a look at the diatonic chords in the major keys. Now, in case you can't remember what diatonic means, we're talking about chords that are built using only the notes from a specific scale or key. And so for now, we're going to play these triads in root position. There are ways to indicate inverted chords with Roman numerals, and we'll get to that later, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Here's something to remember. We have 7 diatonic chords in every major key. And I want you to observe the pattern of diatonic chords in major keys represented by the Roman numerals. And so we're going to put ourselves in the key of C here. We'll make this a little bit easier because when we build the chords in C, they're all on the white key. So they're easy to play, easy to find. And so we start with a major chord. And as you work your way up the major scale, building a triad on each note, using only notes contained in the scale, you come up with this pattern. You have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. And so what I'm doing here is I'm playing the chords in the key of C major. And as I mentioned, this is a good scale to start with, since the 7 diatonic chords will all be on the white keys. Easy to find, easy to play. So once again, C major, D minor, E minor, F, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C. Those are the 7 diatonic chords in a major scale. We have diatonic chords in minor, but there are 3 versions of the minor scale, as you may know. And so there are more than 7 diatonic chords in the minor keys. So let's say that we're in the key of A minor, relative minor to C. We have 3 versions of A minor. We have natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. Natural minor, played entirely on the white keys in A minor. So the chords would be A minor, B diminished, C, D minor, E minor, F, and G. So we start with a minor chord, diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. That's, of course, we're going all the way back to the top. Now in harmonic minor, the 7th note of the scale is raised a half step. And this now affects the chord built on the 3rd note of the scale, which becomes augmented. And then the chord built on the 5th note becomes major, and the chord built on the 7th note is augmented. So in A minor we have, and this is A harmonic minor, we have A minor, B diminished, C augmented, D minor, E, F, G augmented. And then of course we're back to A minor. Now in melodic minor, you know, this is a lot to keep in your mind, so stick with me here. In melodic minor, the 6th and 7th notes are raised. And so the 6th and 7th scale degrees now affect all the triads except the tonic. And so you have 13 diatonic triads in minor. And so we would end up with this. Now we have A minor, B minor, C augmented, D major, E major, and then we have F sharp augmented, G sharp augmented. You may have to go back and review this a few times to get it all together, but you'll notice now that we have 7 diatonic triads in all the major keys, and we have 13 possible diatonic triads in the minor keys because we have the 3 types of minor scales. But when we analyze a lot of tonal music, we find the following Roman numerals are most commonly used in minor. So going back to A minor, these would be A minor, B diminished, C, and then D minor, E, F, G major, and then a special eighth chord, G diminished. So the first four chords are from the natural minor. The fifth chord is from harmonic minor. The sixth and seventh chords are also from the natural minor. And then the extra eighth chord is from the harmonic minor. Now you might be thinking by this time, why should I be learning all of this? The main reason is you want to learn how to identify common chord progressions in any song that you play, no matter what key it might be in. You don't want to be limited to just playing in C, F, and G. You want to be able to play and identify chord progressions in any key. And in addition, as you become familiar with the diatonic chords in every major and minor key, you will be able to play any song in any key, and you'll be able to transpose. You'll be able to play a song in any key that you want. Now, here's your challenge, and it's a big one. You saw how I played through the chords as they are built on successive notes of the scale. Well, there are 12 major scales, and there are 36 minor scales. That's a lot of chords. Well, how many chords are there? Well, not as many as you might think. But if you look at it in one way, it seems like a lot because we have 7 diatonic chords in each major key. So you could do a little math. 12 times 7 is 84. We have 13 diatonic chords in each minor key. So 12 times 13, well, it's 156, I think. Well, that sounds like a lot. But remember, there is quite a bit of overlap between major and minor keys. There are a lot of chords that are common to more than one key. What we're doing here is taking these chords and assigning them to every key. You'll become familiar with the diatonic chords contained in every major and minor key. You'll see how certain chords are common to more than one key. This is a lot to absorb, so I encourage you to take some time with this. See if you can figure out playing these chords in different keys. It's going to take a lot of thought, but I guarantee you this is going to help you learn songs, help you play in different keys, and help you become a more complete piano player, a more complete musician. So if you have any questions or comments, please be sure to leave those in the comment section. I know that I covered a lot of stuff very quickly in this video, so if you need to watch it more than once, you certainly can, and it won't cost you anything. And it also won't cost you anything to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. That helps the channel a lot. And if you'd like to support my work, and that won't cost a whole lot either, you can go to my Patreon page and sign up at one of the various levels. There will be some supplementary materials for my patrons that will help you work through the major exercise that I just gave you to do here at the end of this video. So, thank you again for watching. We're going to continue on talking more about this in future videos. I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.